What's up everyone, my name's Axel. I'm our shop manager and today's a special day. We're gonna be assembling the new 2020 F4 Trail. Just a heads up, if you're not an experienced mechanic, we do recommend that you just take this to a bike shop, support your local businesses, or we can do assembly by FLX. There's a link to that in the website. So if you're not mechanically inclined, we definitely encourage professional assembly. Otherwise, it's a pretty simple build. Let's get started. All of our FLX bikes come with tools in the box. So all you're gonna need is something to open the box and cut zip ties with. So that's gonna be a razor blade, little pair of scissors or clippers, and you're gonna need to pump up the tires on the bike once you get it out of the box and ready to roll. All right, so the first thing you're gonna take out of your box is a little bag of goodies here. This is gonna be your charger, your toolkit. If you got the touring package, there's gonna be some extra little things in there that come with our touring package, your pedals. So we're gonna wanna open this in just a sec, but let's get the bike out. So this is what your bike is going to look like out of the box. Can't wait to see what this looks like. So we're gonna start clipping zip ties with our scissors. I like to start with the front wheel, get it out of the way. When you are unclipping your zip ties from the front wheel, you're going to have an axle spacer in there. It's going to be crucial that that stays on. It's a little difficult for it to pop out. So as you can see, I can't really grab it off with my finger, but it is loose in there. So make sure that this is present on both sides of the wheel after taking off these plastic pieces. So fun little tip for cutting zip ties, if you want to save some money, be eco-friendly, cut the zip tie so that you can reuse it. So you're going to want to cut it on the opposite side as if you were tightening it. Boom. Then you have a fresh zip tie. So this is what your new trail is going to look like out of the box and unwrapped. This is the first time we've seen it and it is absolutely beautiful. Gotta finish assembling it though. So the next box you're gonna wanna grab is this one. It's gonna have your starter toolkit in it, as well as your pedals, reflectors, be safe on the road if you're riding at night. So I'm gonna grab these pedals and the tools out. First thing I'm gonna do is put on the handlebar. All right, so we're gonna do the handlebar right now. You're gonna use your 4mm tool included in the kit and take off the faceplate on your stem. So we've removed that faceplate. Now we wanna grab our handlebars, making sure that the cables here are nice and lined up, they're not tangled up. If you're kind of fighting the bars to get it up here, then that's a sign that your cables could be a little tangled. So just kind of twist it around until it feels really nice and easy to bring this up. And then we'll just reinstall the stem faceplate. You have really good eyes, you'll be able to center the bars without a measuring tape, but I always like to use a measuring tape for this process. When you're screwing the stem bolts back into place, the first pass you want to do it really loose and then tighten on alternating sides so that you get a nice even tension, and the gap on the top and the gap on the bottom should be pretty similar. One more thing to note when we're tightening this is you'll be tightening your handlebars in place. So if your brakes are really far down or really far pointed up, this will be a good time to get them how you want them. If you got a trail with the touring package, your headlight is going to mount right here underneath these two stem bolts. So when you're installing this faceplate, make sure that you put that light in place and get the bolts to secure that when you're tightening it. Once your handlebars are on, go ahead and locate the two cables, one from the LCD and the other one from your bicycle, and go ahead and connect these two connections. So we got the handlebar on the bike, one step closer to riding. I'm gonna put the seat on now, and I'm gonna leave it really high up. And that's because it's gonna make it easier to put on the front wheel. If your seat is spinning around and stuff, you're gonna wanna turn this clockwise to tighten it, and then it will be a little more difficult to clamp, but that's just a sign that it won't move around. All right, so now it's time to put your front wheel on the bicycle. As you can see, I've flipped the bike over and reused the handlebar packaging to safely flip it over and not scuff anything up. And that is also why we left the seat high, so that it can rest nicely on the seat. The F4 trails, just like the F3 trails, come with the Sun Tour Q-Lock through axle on the front fork. A few of you may be wondering how to use this because it is locked in place. It's got this cool clutch mechanism that you're going to be able to collapse when you push on this outside washer. So it'll be locked right here. Again, you're gonna wanna push it, pull it through. Now we're gonna set our wheel into the fork. Just another reminder, double check that these hub spacers are in place on both sides of your wheel. Gently drop this into the dropouts, lining up the rotor inside of the brake caliper right here. Looking at those nice sporty brake pads in there, they look sick. And we're going to slide the through axle through the fork once more. As you can see, this popped open like a budding flower almost, and that means that it is all the way through the fork. So if it looks like this, that means it is not fully pushed through. Ours has expanded, so we are good. Now to tighten this, it's gonna be just like a traditional through axle or skewer. However, this one is a little loose. I can really lightly pull it open. So on that other side, just give it a quarter turn on this side. And that's gonna tighten this through axle. So it's giving it a little more resistance now. I'm gonna give it another quarter turn. Also in that box, like we mentioned, was the pedals. So let's open these up. These are a nice Wellgo metal pedal. Good entry level for mountain biking. There's tons of options out there. So definitely check it out. Pedals can really change your ride. These are gonna be really good out the door. Super strong metal. It's good stuff. All right, all pedals somewhere, but usually in the same spot on this little area right here is gonna tell you R or L. It'll be, you know, kind of discreetly printed, but it will be there. And R is for right side. So I have my right side pedal, gonna go on the right side of the bike when it's standing on the wheels. And a cool little hack is to back pedal while you just apply light pressure with the pedal to the crank arm, and the threads will catch, and you can quickly thread it on before torquing it down. Now that these pedals are finger tight, we still have to torque them down. Included in that toolkit is a 15 millimeter, so let's tighten them. Your pedals don't have to be extremely tight. It's a common misconception, and it can really lead to some problems down the road where you're not able to get them off, or you'll have to buy a whole new crankset, you know, just because your pedal is stuck on there. So, you know, keep them nice and snug, but not over tight. All right, so you may be super stoked to ride your bike now that you've plugged in your LCD to the battery. Technically, the bike is live and ready to go, but we recommend that you give the battery a full charge before its first use for the best battery life possible. It's gonna be crucial, and it's a very important step. So our bikes do have this nice little neoprene sleeve for the cables. Now that we've plugged in our LCD cable to the bike, it'd be a good idea to unzip this and, you know, get it together with the rest of the cables, give the bike a clean look and keep that protected. all those zip ties that you saved up, you get to use those and clean up the wires without spending any extra money. All right guys, so we only have a few items left from our box that we started with. This is gonna be a very important one. This is your charger for your new trail. It's got a little information slip in here telling you all about the charger itself, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Plug this end into the wall and this end into your brick. Very cool. Does use a new connection port. So let's get that battery charging. Now that your bike is 100% built, it's time to charge it up. We do offer in-bike charging for the battery, so you don't have to remove it from your frame. And you'll just plug in your battery charger right into that port and you'll be juicing up your bike right away. However, if you do need to take the battery out of the bike, go ahead and locate the keys that came with your bike and set those into the left side. You're gonna wanna turn counterclockwise. And there's gonna be this tab on the bottom here. You're gonna wanna turn that. This battery is now free to come out of the bicycle. This is the new battery on the F4 bikes. It's a different design than the F3. Pretty cool, I like it. If you're taking this battery out to charge it, your charging port is gonna be located right here underneath this tab. All right, so I just charged my battery all the way and it's time to put it back in the bike. On the same side that you charged it from, there's gonna be these 4 little vent looking things. Those are gonna be connections for the battery to the bike. And you can see in your frame where that will be. So we'll slide that end of the battery in first. Click it in. And for extra battery security, turn that clockwise and you can remove that and you're ready to ride. So if you got a touring package, the only remaining thing is gonna be your smartphone mount and your reflectors. Smartphone mount is optional and mounts right onto your handlebar super simply. And the reflectors as well, just clips onto anything circular. All right, so that concludes the F4 2020 Trail Assembly. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at our email or give us a call. Otherwise, stay tuned for any updates and new videos that we make. We're super stoked for this new bike, completely redesigned and super sick. Stay tuned.